I don't know what this is. I seem to have never been motivated in this way, but the more I live and I am who I am, the less inclined I am to be like clapping or saying this is good or something. The type of preaching that like the truth, speaking the truth, is calling something out, like calling a person out or something. It's very strange to me, right? It honestly feels like there's this subconscious language of shame situation where a person believes that they are lacking subconsciously, and it's kind of soothing to be called out because it's like, this is what's missing, put this here, right? This is what's missing, put these clothes on. This is what's missing, put these clothes on. So I'm calling you out for not wearing enough clothes. I'm calling you out for not being filled in this place. I'm calling you're lacking here, right? And subconsciously, I think that's actually soothing for someone who's in that shame darkness place, because it gives you something to put on. And in putting something on, you can have this sense of purpose. You can it's a distraction, right? I can distract myself from the unbelief that's in me or something. The door in the house I can't unlock, so I'm frantically running around trying to clean every other place, right? Oh, I can open all of these doors and clean all of these other rooms. Look at this. And it's like these I don't know. This this approach of preaching is just showing you where there's like more doors that you can open, that you can like go and clean the room or something, right? And that's soothing for someone who is trying to distract themselves from being able to open that one door. The one door that they need to open but they can't open. The one door they can't open that they need to open but they don't need to open it. You're confronted with your weakness, that position, when you try to open that door. But that's the only door that matters. It is the door of unbelief. And when someone is outside that door, right? When someone is outside the door and in the dark hallway, they see that the door of unbelief is not having enough belief. But when you are able to unlock that door and find your way in, you actually find the Lord ushering you in and saying, no, this is just a need to believe. Let me fill you. But not because you are lacking, but because you're not aware of how whole you are. Because you're not aware of what hasn't been revealed to you yet. It's this righteousness, wholeness preaching. That approach, it seems to be the only thing that motivates me. This is why you are enough. This is why you are pleasing. But it doesn't have to call upon one's behavior. Behavior becomes something that is, it's not that it's irrelevant, but if you believed in Saul through the perspective of the Father, you would not behave in such a small-minded kind of way. So it takes it, and it doesn't have to put your behavior on a pedestal, calling it out and saying, this needs to be corrected, and this needs to be corrected. But it actually puts it on the ground and says, this is too small for you. You're only right here because you've been deceived, thinking your behavior is something you need to get a handle on. And the preachers that make people feel good and soothe. This is just my opinion, right? This is what I feel like I'm picking up whenever I'm like listening to most preachers talk or something. And then I hear the audience saying, oh yeah. And it's like some form of being called out or something. And I'm sure you're like writing it down. I'm being called out here. This feels so good. I'm being called out here. Oh wow, it gives me something to do. I can go and unlock this door, right? You just showed me a new room in the house that I can distract myself with by trying to clean it. But I don't think any of that is going to set you free. All the knowledge about the truth in that way, I don't think it's going to set you free. It's just going to make you more, I think, restless. Because hearing it, you're like, oh yeah, this is good because it gives me something to do. And giving me something to do gives me a sense of purpose. This moves you, this motivates you because you have yet to come through that door of unbelief to find where he gives you revelation and understanding of your righteousness and wholeness in him, that actually makes obsolete cleaning any room of the house. It's like the rooms just get cleaned by the Holy Spirit as you yield to the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit takes you deeper into the awareness of how whole you are, the righteousness of Christ that you've received because of Jesus. That makes the approach that we have in our preaching not sound so good after a while. You're just like, I don't need to be motivated like that. Call me out. I don't give a shit anymore. It doesn't matter. It's like the woman at the well where Jesus like looks through her, past what she has been deceived to believe about herself, past the accusations and the shame that she has felt about herself, and that other people have like shamed her in that place, which is the reason why she was alone going into the heat of the day instead of the cool of the day with the other people. It's because she was shamed into that like time slot. And that's where he met her. He met her in that place. He knew where she was going to be because she was ostracized, right? But what does he do? He doesn't point out another place that is lacking in her. He doesn't point out this is what's lacking here. But instead he goes through it. He goes through, and you can see unbelief is just you have not come to know the truth. You are in need to believe, which seems to be the precursor to more belief. Revelation and understanding gets ushered forth by grace in this unbelief place. But he looks past. He's like, no, you've had like multiple husbands. No, you've this. And she leaves and says, come and meet the man who knows everything about me. Meaning like the book to the approach of being like motivated in this way to be better or to change gets thrown out the window as you find that your creator is not ashamed of you where you are. I'm telling you, I think it speaks volumes. And I think that revelation and being brought into that understanding is going to have you look at most preaching. And you're going to stop saying that it's good. Because it doesn't call you out. Because you don't need to be shamed into trying to get rid of more shame. As you find that he is not ashamed of you in the place that you were in, you will be like, come and meet the man who knows everything about me. So I'm no longer feeling like I need to distract myself from what I can't do and how I'm incapable, trying to do things that I'm more capable of doing. So that if you take that approach and you preach it through the Bible, I think you're going to hear a completely different new thing. I don't think people are going to be ready for it. We want something that's black and white. We want something we can cling onto. We want something that says, this is what the word says. This person is preaching from the word. That's good. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. But it's subconsciously speaking to where you are still being soothed, right? This shame cycle. You call me out so I can be called out by the shame that I am wearing, right? So that I can have this motivation to take it off. And then the people around me are also encouraged in the same way to do it in their own strength. I mean, pray, of course, but I don't think God comes about and says, no, you're right. The issue is like you've been called out in this way and you should be convicted. I don't think he calls out and convicts you in what you are wearing, but in what you know or don't know. And I think what you don't know is how lovely and wonderful you are to the Father, right? How much you belong to him. That's going to make obsolete being called out on from someone on stage. This way of calling things out. It's going to stop sounding good to you. As you find that it doesn't matter. The man who knows everything about me already called everything out of me. And even if there's new things to be called out, I don't give a shit. Because it's no longer motivating me to do anything about it. As I find that I am wonderful just as I am right now. And it's not about leaning on my behavior, because my behavior comes from having a small mind. But when my mind is opened up, my behavior is going to get that much richer. So then it just deals with itself all on its own. You don't have to be motivated by someone on stage to behave in a different way.